Morning all. I'm about 4 miles north of Buxton, and straight off the Lancaster has been cancelled due to the wind, and whilst it was perhaps just over their limits yesterday, or rather forecast to be just over the limits of the Lancaster flying, it is probably double now. I've come over the Staffordshire moorlands. It's took me 2.5 hours to get north of Buxton. I left it as fairly late, and I thought, well, I'm only going to hit the traffic in Stafford. It is as windy as a windy thing. You may be able to see the trees moving around, but coming over the Staffordshire moorlands to Buxton, and indeed now I can feel it on me now, it is approximately 12 degrees, but with the wind it's probably more like 8, which is pretty much what they said it was going to be honest. But the wind is gusting in certain areas around 30 mile an hour, which is roughly 3 mile an hour more than the Lancaster's allowed to fly in, I think, or something like that. However, I've just checked the Facebook page and they've put on a Typhoon from 29 Squadron at Coningsby that's going to fly as much of the route as possible. Obviously with all its computer wizardry and stuff, it can do things in weather conditions that the Lancaster can't. Of course, back in 1943 there was a lot more of them. Not that we were actually, you know, got many to spare, but with the only one flying in Britain and only one of 2 that's still flying in the world, you can understand why. If we get there for the Typhoon, great. Of course, it's not the same thing, is it? But, you know, it's something. Of course, a lot of people have travelled a long way. I was reading somebody travelled from Wales, and I forget where the long was, but it took me 2.5 hours to get to 4 miles north of Buxton. Roadworks, especially in Buxton, I am not going back through Buxton. So the traffic going into Buxton is about 2 to 3 miles tailback. I've got my own little idea for a tribute, maybe, celebration, memorial. Of course there is the memorial there as well. It's really hitting me, that wind. No wonder they ain't flying the Lancaster. Mind you, I did leave it a little bit too late to leave, but I thought, well, I was going to come up really early, so I'd have to wait about 2 hours. But I kept an eye on the weather and the Facebook page for the Battle of Britain Memorial flight, and I thought, well, I might as well leave it a bit later, then I'll hopefully miss much of the rush hour traffic through the likes of Wolverhampton and Stafford. I got to Stafford in 1 hour and 5 minutes. I did have a slight detour and drive past that NAF dealer in Stafford who damaged SMLE. Still no communication. He was nowhere in sight. As far as my best protest anyway is what I've done. Bought it Webley from somewhere else. Went up to Winnats Pass, if I remember correctly. Quite a short pass, but steep. Well, steepish. And here we are, Winnats Pass. Take us down to Castleton, and then we're not far away, to be honest. Got the F trip flashing at me. Incidentally folks, best miles per gallon so far, 95. That was, shall we say, the middle bit of the run to the Wye Valley and the South Wales area, and that was mainly some B roads, A roads, and about 20-25 miles of motorway. Of course, I'm a bit of a pilgrim in an unholy place, to quote Indiana Jones, because I was going to say arguably, but it's not really, is it? The Peak District National Park, really, I suppose, not the national park itself, but certain people who live in the area. Well, let's be fair, they hate green roaders, whether it's bikes or four-wheel drives of any description. Hate is probably too light a word to use. A lot of NIMBYs. Not everybody, of course. it would be unfair to do what they do and generalise everybody. Which is what they do with Green Roaders. This is Castleton, nice little spot. Nice cream teas here on the left at the Rose Cottage Cafe there. But as bikes go, folks, this sort of area is just the ticket for Webley. I mean, I've struggled on some of the roads, but not because of the lack of horsepower. Well, in a way I have, I suppose. Overtaking opportunities have been few and far between. Of course, you do have to think about that a bit more. But really, it doesn't eat horsepower that was the problem. The lack of overtaking opportunities due to the type of roads. And not even the quarry lorries are the problem. Motorhomes. Well, one in particular. God, blimey. Volkswagen. Smaller than a Transit. We're lucky to do 35 in a 50 and 60. And I know you want to see the countryside. She's over the Staffordshire Moorlands. I don't want to see the countryside, but blimey, if you want to, get out the way and let people by. Pull over, have a cup of tea, enjoy it. Maybe we'll find an odd green lane or two. I've got my OS maps. I do know one, I've driven one, it's just a track, it's nothing spectacular. And I thought it was a good time for people to make a £5 or a £10. Park on my drive, mate. £10 for charity. What's it going to be like if everybody leaves all at the same time? There you are. Even though it's not coming, look how many people there are. Well, the Willies. Fishing boats are out, probably with cameras on, bikes everywhere, as well as cars. I think the old bike parking area is going to be rammed, but we'll try. But it's nice to see that people, by the numbers that are here, that people still think of the things that went on, so we can have choice. Oh, panther. A lot of iron calls today. Nice muggy. In a couple of hours all these will be gone. Other beauty of coming up here is Snake Pass as well, which you can see in one of the Land Rover Great Drives and Rides videos. The lights really, and that typhoon will probably come zigzagging down here. Nice to see the National Park using a Freelander. Bikes galore. Come down here from that way. I'm sure we'll find enough room for Webley next week. Well, quite a bike show really. Oh, closed it off. Great. Well, that answers that then. We're going to have to find a spot. Yeah, quite a bike show. The odd Land Rover as well. Well, it's about 5 minutes for the jet.